everybody. How are we? Yeah? All right. 9 o'clock. All right. That's the limit right there, isn't it? If the show would have started 30 minutes later, we're like, we're going home. All right, this is too late for me. This is my third show of the evening. We did one at 3:30 and then one before this. And I'm excited to be here, but there are going to be moments where I'm going to be like, did I already tell that joke? And I'm going to tell you what I do when I think I'm telling a joke that I've already told in the same show is I just look at audience members and I try to read your face to go, he's already told that joke. And I'm like, oh my God, I already told that joke. So if you see an inquisitive look on my face, that's me going, did I already do this? Or is that on the 3 o'clock or the 6 o'clock show? I don't know what's going on. But it's so nice to be here. It's my first time we're doing a weekend at this club, and it's absolutely beautiful. Like, I love it. It's so intimate and well lit. Like, this is the nicest I've ever looked on a stage. Like this, I feel like a new car at a dealership or something. Like, you know, the one where you go in and you're like, oh, that's the souped up one. There we go. We got a 1987 man up there. Look at him. He's got 38 miles on him, and he's a little nearsighted, but he's good. All right. His smell's been weird since the pandemic, but he's all right. He's all right. His right knee hurts. It clicks sometimes. And his wife says he breathes loud. But other than that, this is a good dude right here. So thank you all for coming out. This is wonderful. I like your town. It's my first time here in Fort Collins. It's cool. It's good. It's like there's two towns. There's like this part of it, and then you guys are like, all right, well, we gotta build stuff that works. And then there's like the rest of it. This is like the fun part where you're like, let's leave the old buildings, huh? You know, we can sell ice cream out of them or something. You know, it's all kitschy and cool down here. I love this part, and then the roads are all over. It's just, you can tell it was built before we needed them, you know? It was just kind of a choose your own adventure of where to put the roads, you know? It was just like two guys. Like one guy's like, I'm gonna start a road. Cool, I'm gonna start one too. Should we get together? Nah, let's just see what happens, man. We'll have weird intersections. Where 100 years from now, people will be like, can I make a left here? I don't know if I can make a left here. There's an island this thick in the middle of it. And you have to go in the middle to make an unprotected left, but you're like, I'm too far out here. Like, this is weird. This shouldn't be, but I love it. It's like old and modern at the same time. I like it. You guys try to be like, ooh, we're a big town. Like, you gotta put a parking garage, but then you forgot to charge people. That's so funny. You forgot the arm. There's supposed to be an arm that comes down and goes, you must pay. And you're like, nah, they'll pay. I didn't. I just went in there. They're like, here's a QR code. And I'm like, well, do I have to? And then I started doing it. I'm like, well, let's just see what's out there. And then I went down. I'm like, we didn't have to. And then I just left, man. Sorry if anyone owns that garage, but I owe you $12 or however much. I don't know what it costs. It was very nice. It's been fun coming here with Josh. Josh went to college here 20 years ago, so he's just been crying. He's like, no, they closed the pickle barrel. He won't shut up. Dude, do you ever visit a town with a guy that used to live in that town, and they're just like, oh, that's where I used to get sandwiches, and they used to go to this strip club on the outskirts of town called the Hunt Club, and he looked it up. They closed the Hunt Club, and I'm like, come on, man, that was 20 years ago. And he's just, I'm listening to him be nostalgic and missing it, and that's just what happens, you know. He graduated from the college here. I never went to college, just to high school. And then I've been friends with Josh so long that I'm like, oh, I could have totally gone, you know. Like, I'm not calling him dumb. I'm just saying we're not that far apart. He's not like vastly smarter than me, and I don't think I'm smarter than him, but we're on the level, you know? You ever just like not do things because you're like, nah, I don't have what it takes, and then you meet someone that's doing the thing, and you're like, oh, I could have done it. I could have done the thing. I just didn't. I don't know. I gave up early. Like he got into computer science because his parents made him, and then that was his major. He got into computer science, and he was like, hey, he's telling me about it this week. He's like, so dumb. He's all coding. It was like a new language. Like this is never going to be worth anything. So he just dropped that. So he didn't get a degree in computer science, which could have helped. This many years later. And he instead got into like mathematics, and he did that for a while. By the way, what a fun way to say math, right? You ever hear someone say mathematics, and you're like, you don't need that second part. We knew what you were going to say. Math. And he dropped out of math because he's like, the math was hard. There was no numbers in it anymore. It wasn't the math I did in college, or in high school. It was like college. It was all letters. And I'm like, how are we supposed to get answers out of these? And so he dropped that, and that's when I related it to him the most, because I'm like, that was my high school math experience. I always sucked at math. I was never good at it. But it was easy in elementary school and middle school because it would just like go away after a while, you know? Like I remember in 5th grade, we're like, we're going to multiply fractions. And I'm like, I don't get it. This sucks. I don't get it. But then a couple weeks later, it just went away, you know? You just failed that quiz and then it never came up again. And you're like, hell yeah, maybe you'll learn the next thing, you know? Maybe the new one, you'll catch on to that. And that's how I made it through math. Elementary school, middle school, and then first year of high school was algebra. And then I was like the first of Pythagorean's theorem. I'm like, I don't get it. And I'm like, a couple weeks, that'll go away. And tell you what, it did not. All right? Like, then 2 weeks later, like, all right, now that you know this, we're going to add this to it. I'm like, no, I did not know that. And then in my 14-year-old head, I'm like, oh, hopefully these things both go away, and the next thing I'll get, and it was just a disaster after disaster. God, I can't. Man, that seems so. That was 20 years ago. My 20 high school reunion is this summer. I'm not going to it because I'm going to be doing comedy in Baltimore, which I'm not upset about, but yeah, well, I don't know. It made me think of high school, just reminiscing with Josh, and I was like, it's so weird. Like, I played football in high school. Not even well, just because I wanted to hang out with my friends. My friends were like, we're going to go play football. I'm like, me too. You know? I didn't even know the positions. I didn't even learn the game until I played it. This was like on TV. There's too many positions. So my friend was like, what position are you going to play? I'm like, I don't know. What are you doing? And he's like, middle linebacker and tight end. I'm like, me too. And then we got into, like, pick the positions, and then coaches were like, no, you're a left tackle. He's talking to my friend. You're a left tackle, and you're going to play a defensive end. That's what you're going to play. And for me, I was so unathletic. They're like, just keep the positions you're already at. We're never going to put you on the field. And I was like, sick. You're like, that's awesome. I never wanted to play anyway. I was just trying to hang out with my buds. And it was so crazy. You ever remember, like, the maturity jump that happened? You, like, you finished 8th grade, and then you had the summer off, and then you went to high school, and then some people were just men. And you're just still a boy. And you're like, we're in the same locker room? Like, this shouldn't be, like... There's a kid in my class, Ronnie Kopp. Ronnie Kopp was this badass. Like in middle school, I watched him beat up 2 kids at the same time. And they jumped him. We were in the lunch line. 2 kids jumped him, and he made him regret it. I watched him beat up 2 kids by himself, and then I was behind him. I went, whoa, that was awesome. Like, I don't even know if he remembers that he turned. There's some chubby kid with glasses going, wow. But if he ever finds out, that was me, you know? And then we had the summer break, and then we signed up for football, so we had to show up in the summer. And then the day before the first day of high school, we had to pick up our football pads. And we're all in line, and Ronnie Kopp showed up with his girlfriend, a baby, and a cigarette. And he was just over there, just, what's up, fellas? And he's like, here, baby, why don't you hold the baby? And then I was like, we were all like, no one's even touched our wieners yet. And he's already got a full baby and a cigarette, and he just picked up his pants and he left, and I was like, that's a man right there. We shouldn't be on the same team with that guy. And he was really good. I think he played on the defensive line, and I got hit by him in practice a few times, and that sucked. It was one of those things where we'd line up and have to do drills, and I'd see where he was in the line. I'm like, hey, why don't you go ahead right here? I'd shimmy where I was in line because I'm not taking his face mask to the ribs again. But he wasn't on the team the whole year because the way it worked was like halfway into the school year, or halfway into the football season, your grades come out. If you don't have 2.0 average, you can't be on any of the teams. And so the grades came out. He had a 0.5 GPA. Not a 1.5, 0.5, which is also a bad DUI blow. But honestly, a worse GPA. Like, it's a more shocking GPA than it is a... like, it's 0.5. Like, wow. So he was going to have his last football game, and he asked the coach, he's like, hey, can I be a running back for, like, one series? Like, I'm never going to get to play again. Let me just be a running back. So they let him, and he was this giant defensive tackle, and he just plowed through all these kids. They just gave him the ball 10 times, and they just trucked it down, and no one could stop him. And that's when I saw one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I was on the sideline for the football game, and he did a run, and he came up the side, and this kid tried to tackle him, and he juked him, and then clotheslined him. Like, he juked the guy that was supposed to tackle him. He was like, oh, yeah, but take this for your trouble. And he got a penalty. They threw a flag, and they're like, unnecessary roughness. And my coach was like, what? On the ball carrier? You can't call unnecessary roughness on the ball carrier? And Ronnie was like, no, coach, I got him pretty good. Listen, I know you're not a dad yet, but that's someone's son, all right? Someone's in the stands right now. They just saw their child get beheaded. One day, coach, you will know the joy of having a son like I do. That was bizarre. I don't know why that reminded me of Ronnie Kopp. But I hope he's well. I don't know. And if he sees this, please don't beat me up. I hope that was a good, positive story about you. But no, it's fun. I'm glad I'm here. I flew in yesterday. Fun flight. We flew over the Grand Canyon, which is pretty awesome. Like, I was on that, and then the flight attendants are like, hey, if you look out the right side of the window, you can see the Grand Canyon. And I was on the right in the window, so I opened it and I looked. Not that impressive, quite honestly. It was just a crack in the ground. And I think you got to be closer to it to enjoy it. I think we were too high up. You know how sometimes with art, they're like, you got to back up to enjoy it. I think Grand Canyon's in reverse. You got to be in it on a donkey, and you're like, oh my God, we're in the Grand Canyon. And so I'm just looking at it, I'm like, this kind of sucks. But the people near me were like, oh, they're taking pictures. And then I felt like I felt like they were judging me, like I'm too good for the Grand Canyon, you know. So I'm like, I'm really, wow, you don't see that every day, you know. And then we did that for like 20 seconds, and the flight attendant came on. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, it's on the left side of the plane. And I was like, oh, you guys were fakers. That's who you were. You knew that was a lame-ass crack in the ground. That wasn't the real Grand Canyon. That was just a little fissure. That's all that was. Thank you. Yeah, not many comics using the word fissure out there. Thank you. Not even sure I used it correctly, but I think that's correct. A fissure. It's a rough time to fly. It's rough out there because it's the summer. This is when everyone flies, family vacations, and no one knows how. I fly all the time, so I'm good at it. And this is the time of the year when I'm in line at TSA, and I'm just looking at people like, that is not going to work at all. There's just people showing up like, what? I can't bring 3 gallons of water? What? Can you believe this, honey? I can't bring our 3 gallons of water. And you're just stuck behind them. You're like, God, man. And you see groups, like there's a bunch of groups flying, and you're like, what is that group? You ever try to guess what they do? You're like, what is that? What is that? A cult? A volleyball team? What is that? Everyone's tall and blonde. I don't care for it. I'll tell you that. Like, we landed in Denver, and I was walking through, and there's just a group of, teenagers. I think there was, a religious group, because they're all, 16 to 18, but they look too innocent, you know? Like, you ever see, when they stay in the church, and they just, there's no... They have a lightness to them because they love the Lord, and I was like, I think they're in, because none of them were on their phones. They're all playing with wooden toys, and I'm like, that's some sort of group, dude. I don't know what kind of group that is. That's some sort of. No one's on their phone. They're all playing ball in a cup. They're all. I don't know. I don't trust it. It's a good laugh, sir. Hell yeah. Good mix. Are you injured? You're injured. You have a cast there. What is that? Are you okay?
Carpal tunnel.
You guys were fighting? Wow. Oh, man, Fort Collins. Domestic violence, that's fun here. All right, I didn't know that. She was man, we were fighting. I love it. Is that, did you jack your wrist down?
Yeah, it's carpal tunnel.
Carpal tunnel, all right. I asked because the last show, there's someone sitting right there, and they had a cast, or they had crutches, and they're like, yeah, I stepped on a piece of metal, and I have surgery coming up, and I was like, good Lord. He's like, yeah. And I gotta be honest with you, that's kind of been the attitude of everyone I've met in Fort Collins. Just kind of like, yeah, just kind of aloof, but there's like a delay. Do you know what I mean? Like there's like a millisecond delay where you're like, what's that? What was that right there? Like we showed up here early because I had a 3:00 show, so Josh and I had lunch across the street at the Penrose, and yeah, great restaurant, good food. The hostesses over there, there was like a delay. I don't know what it was. Well, there were nice girls that were working there, like, and we're like, table for two, and they're like, for two? And I was like, what was that? What's that? I was like, is everyone AI? Like, is everyone just processing for two? And everyone just had a delay on them, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. But yeah, everyone seems very outdoorsy out here. Like there's people, everyone looks like a good hiker. There's a lot of people that are walking, and then it looks like they just quit. There's a lot of quitters out there. They don't look homeless. They just look like they sat down. Like, let's just regroup our thoughts. They just spread all their stuff out. I can't tell if they need help or they're waiting for a bus. Like, I don't know what's a real. You can do what you want here, and I really like that. Yeah, I landed. It was kind of scary. As soon as I landed, I got a text from my mom, and the text just read, I hope your house safe from the fire. That's all she said. And my mom's Hungarian. That's why I put the accent on that. In case you're like, what was that? Is that how his phone reads his text to him? Like, is that the narration he chose? No, my mom's Hungarian. So am I, but she's it, you know? Like, she sounds it. And I was like, oh my God, is my house on fire? What do you mean? I told her, I just landed in Denver. What the hell's going on? And she didn't respond. So I'm just stuck. I'm stuck on the tarmac, and I'm trying to Google fires in San Diego, but there's something about being in a plane on the tarmac. There's no cell reception. It'll say 5Gs. There's no Gs, all right? There's nothing. You can't send a text. You can't do nothing. And then finally, as I'm getting off the plane, she texts me. She goes, never mind. It's pretty far away. And I was like, why wouldn't you look it up first? Before my mom does that to me all the time. She'll send me a weird text that just like messes me up. Like one time I was about to do a show, and as I'm being introduced, I get a picture of a family friend of ours like in a hospital bed holding a brand new baby, and the text underneath wrote, Marika's baby just burned. And as I was like, what? They're like, everybody, Zoltan Kaszas. And I'm like, all right, we'll find that out later. And it was hard because I looked at it really quick, and I'm like, burned, and then I looked at the baby, and it's a newborn, so it could go either way. Like, have you ever seen a newborn baby? If someone was like, it was burned, and they did a real quick one, you're like, oh my God, was it? It was like red and white. It was like a weird mix. You can't tell. And then I got off, once the show was done, I looked, and no, she was trying to say, Marika's baby just borned. That's what she wanted to say. So afterwards, I texted her back, I'm like, did you mean burned or borned? And that's how I found out, borned, not a word. Because my phone auto-corrected my borned to burned, so I texted her, did you mean burned or burned? And she texted me back, oh, Zoli, your English terrible. It's so bad. And I was like, damn it, Mom. Just get on my page, dude. It's crazy. But yeah, it's fun to be out here. I had a good week. I went to the doctor. That was cool. Got my first checkup in, 20 years or something. You ever not go to the doctor for a long time, and then they're like, are you due for anything? And I'm like, I think everything. My doctor asked me, when was the last time you had a tetanus shot? And I was like, when do they give that out? And he's like, usually when you're a kid. And I'm like, I'm going to say then. I don't think I've had one then. And then somehow she looked it up. She's like, yeah, your last tetanus shot was 1998. And I was like, yeah, I was in the 6th grade. Yeah, I was entering the 6th grade. And she's like, you want another one? I'm like, yeah, I should probably take another one of those. Because you never know. Some people are stepping on shards of metal out here. You want to be protected, It's so weird. I really want, because my wife worries. She's a worrier about health and stuff. She's like, I want you to go. You're 38. It's not old, but it's time to go and get things checked out. And I went, and we haven't gotten any of the results from my blood work yet. We got to wait. So she came back. I came back, and she's like, what'd they say? Like, how is everything? I'm like, we got to wait for the blood work. She's like, yeah, but what'd they say about, like, your blood pressure or something, man? I'm like, they just said it was fine. Like, they didn't say good or bad. He kind of just went, I'll take it. And I'm like, that's not a medical term, dude. I need something to tell my wife. Like, what am I... Is she still allowed to put salt in it? Or does she have to cut the salt out? All right? My wife has to cook. My wife loves to cook. She needs to know if she's killing me or if it's still seasoning. I can't just go, oh, he said I'll take it. That's what he said. It's hard, That is one of the challenges. My wife is Persian, so she cooks a lot of really good Persian food, but she uses all the spices. Like, every chicken is just covered in turmeric. Everything. And it's delicious, but I have a white stomach. All right? I have a white stomach. So afterwards, she's like, oh, damn it. And I'm like, yeah, quit dusting up all the chicken, all right? I haven't seen white chicken in 5 years. Like, just give me some white salt and pepper chicken, and I won't stink you out of the bedroom every evening. And she's like, you need to get a handle on that. I'm like, you need to get a handle on that. You're just dusting it up. Everything's got some dust on it, I love my wife, but I love annoying her, and I think she loves annoying me. I think that's the joy of marriage. You ever do something that you know they hate, and you're like, yeah. And you know it. You know that they hate it, and you're like, I'm going to do it. Because they do stuff that like my wife hates it when I breathe. She hates it. There's like a position when I'm in bed watching TV, if like the pillow's doing this, I don't hear it. It's here and this is here. I'm good. I'm here. I don't need the subtitles. I hear what's going on. And she's just be like, you're just going to breathe like that, huh? And I'm like what? I'm just living. I don't know what to tell you. But she annoys me. She annoys me too. She always asks to, like, when we go out to eat, she wants some of my food. Which I don't have a problem with. Like, most of it, I'm like, here, try, have some. Go halves, I don't care. But I don't like sharing handheld foods with her because she doesn't know how to eat them. Like if I have a sandwich or a burger, she'll take a bite and then she'll be like, oh, here you go. And it's just... She takes, like, the worst structural bite you could take on a sandwich, and I just get back a salad. And I'm like... Oh, thank God there's a fork and knife, because that's how I gotta finish this. She just doesn't know. Like, I know how to eat a sandwich. You gotta hold it, and you're like, oh, that's a good piece. Right there. And then the structural, I'm not gonna get into the foundation of it. I'm not gonna knock out a cornerstone and have a whole wall come down and be like, there you go. She does it with everything. Like, she doesn't know how to eat burritos. And it's not her fault. She grew up in Toronto, Canada. They don't have as many burritos out there. I grew up in San Diego. I have a lot of burrito. I know how to eat a burrito. You get it, and you pick a side, and you go left, right, middle. And that's what you do. That's what you do. You pick a side, you go left, and you bite, and you suck a little. You bite, and you suck. Just a little, because it's a juicy... If you don't suck, it's just going to spill. So you got to bite, you suck, then you go bite, suck, and then you go bite, suck. That's how it works. You go left, right, middle, suck. Left, right, middle. And then you work your way down to the end. There's like that weird corner with all the juice. And you just gotta go, oh man, dive that in. That's how you eat a burrito. It's not rocket science, all right? It's just how you eat a burrito. And she doesn't know. Every once in a while, she's like, let me get a bite of your burrito. And I'm like, oh, dear God. And I hand it over, and I just get back like a dilapidated... You know what? Remember in like the Bugs Bunny cartoons where Bugs would, like, Elmer Fudd would come with his rifle and then he'd stick his finger in the end of the rifle and the thing would just explode? That's the burrito I get back. It's just this, and I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? And she's like, it's pretty good. I'm like, I bet it is. I bet it is. You ruined the entire structure of it. It's the little things we do to annoy each other. She likes to make me jealous, too. She's making me jealous with Chat GPT. She talks to anyone using chat? Anyone? Yeah, over there. So that couple, okay, people over there. Do you use it? See what I mean? That's what I'm... It's okay if it's no.
I don't have to. He uses it funny for both of us.
Oh, okay. So you just go, why don't you ask chat this, that, and the other. I like that. So like I don't use it, and my wife uses it. And the reason I have a problem with it is because she used to ask me all the questions. My wife's very inquisitive, and she would just ask me stuff, and I'd give her the best answer I got. And she'd be like, all right. But ever since she got chat, she now checks my work. So she'll ask me some question, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I think it's this. She'll be like, And then chat will tell me I'm wrong. And she picked a British voice. So I have a smug British man's voice going, actually. And I'm like, don't even ask me then if you're just going to ask him, all right? And she's like, what are you, jealous? I'm like, no, I'm not jealous. And I realized I think I am jealous. Because the other night, I accidentally called Alexa baby. And I think that was my way of getting back at her. Because I was out there, I'm like, Alexa, turn off the living room. And she's like, right away. And I'm like, thanks, baby. And then my wife's like, did you just call Alexa baby? I'm like, why don't you talk to Chat about it? Leave me alone. We're having our AI relationships out here. I don't know. We both try to keep track. I think that's what it is. I think we both want to be informed. I don't want to be too informed. You know, I just don't want to be the last to know. Like, I hate watching the news because it stresses me out. But I just don't want to be the last to know. I don't want to be that guy who opens his front door and everyone's got a helmet and a stick. And then I'm like, oh my God, what the hell did I miss? And I'm running to Home Depot. They're all out of helmets and sticks. So I'm just wearing my thickest beanie, holding a Swiffer. Like, it's not... I don't want that picture in the history books. Just my dumb ass with a Swiffer and like, not everyone prepared for the revolution. It's just... And it's the good Swiffer with the juice. And I can, someone gets too close, I'll hit them with the Fabulosa right in the eyes. And they'll be out of there. But I just don't want to be the last to know. I also don't want to know too much, either. I just want to know enough. I want to know enough to be able to keep up at a dinner party, but I don't want to know so much that I ruin the dinner party, you know? You know those people, like, you don't even know the half of it, and you're like, oh, buddy, please shut up. Because we're at a point where everything's political. Everything's arguable. You could just be like, man, it's hot today. It's like, oh, it's always been this temperature. And you're like, all right, dude, I'm not saying left, right, or different. I'm just saying your Crocs are melting. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying they're goopy. That was a crazy one, you know. Like, I try to keep track of it all. It's hard. Like, we went to war. I don't know if you saw that on the news. We were at war with Iran. Sorry if this is how you found out. What a weird way to find out. How'd you find out we're at war with Iran? There was a guy who was very well illuminated. And he broke the news to us. It's crazy. I thought there was going to be more time. Because, like, Trump, like, 2 days ago, he's like, I'm going to give him 2 weeks to negotiate, which was, like, pretty much like a parent going, I'm going to count to 10, dude. I'm going to, you know? And then, but he counted to 10 the way that mobster from Home Alone did, where he was like, 1, 2, 10. Like, I was like, you got to count to 10, dude. There's more numbers. So I've just been watching that. I've been watching that lead up on the news, and they tell you so much. They tell you way too much stuff on the news. They're like, yeah, we're going to bomb them there. And we got these B-52 bomber. And I'm like, shut up, dude, you know? Like, when I played football in high school, we didn't go, hey, we're going to run it to the left. Good luck. Like, that's not... Why don't you shut up a little bit? You turn on the news, they'll tell you everything. Yeah, we got B-52 bombers, and we got these bunker buster bombs, and their nuclear sites are right here, here, and here. And we're going to fly right over, and pew, brr, and you're like, shut up. They might have cable, you know? Like, you don't want to shut up about that? You just want to be loud about it? I don't know. But yeah, I guess we're going to war with them because they're trying to build a nuclear weapon. And we don't want them to do that because we don't trust him. We're like, that guy's crazy. We don't want that crazy guy with a nuke. Same with Kim Jong-un. That guy's a loon. We don't want that guy with a nuke. So it's weird. Like, we're cool with, like, gun control for the world. But as far as here goes, we're like, hey, Like, we don't want those guys to have a nuke, but if they came over here, they're like, can I get a gun? Oh, right here. Farmer's market's that way. Have fun. And you're like, what? It's an interesting mix, but we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. I don't know that. I'm just saying it. I don't know. It comes in on TikTok. I was going through TikTok, and there, you know how there's just random videos? I baked a cake, and here's a dance, and isn't this dog ugly? And now they'll just mix in, hey, do you know how to survive a nuclear blast? And they say it with the same tone of like, I'm gonna make a crepe, and you're like, no, dude, you gotta change the tone in your voice. But I watched the whole video on how to survive a nuclear blast. They're like, as soon as you see it, the lights just get brighter. All right, I was like, is it happening now? Oh my God. I gotta get under this stool? Like, Jesus. It's just a big flash. Oh my God. That scared me. Oh, wow. That was great timing. Because, yeah, in the video, they're like, if once the bomb goes off, they're like, number one, don't look at the flash, because it will blind you. And I'm like, I'm totally looking at the flash. You can't tell me I'm gonna hear boom, and I'm not gonna go. Like, I'm for sure looking at that flash. I could watch this video 100 times, and 100 times I would look at that flash. And then you're supposed to lay down and open your mouth. This is weird. You gotta leave your mouth open, because otherwise your lungs explode. So you just get, because the concussion of the blah, blah, blah. And then, so you gotta leave your mouth open. But don't look at it. So, like, it's behind. And then once that's over, you got to get up and get underground for, like, the next 2 weeks. And then you can come, and you got to change your clothes, and then you can come out after that. And I'm like, I'll just die, dude. There's no way I'm going to remember any of that. That's not who I am. Like, some people are really good, like fight or flight. That's why there's first responders, because they jump into action. They remember stuff during stressful times. That's not who I am. That's not who I've ever been, all right? I'm like, there's two. There's fight, there's flight, and there's also freeze. There's a third one. That's who I am. I'm a huh? Like, that's how I know I'm going to stare at it. I'll be like, whoa. Like, that's going to be it. Because one time, I saw a drive-by shooting. Like, we went to a baseball game in San Diego, and afterwards we got lost. We went to kind of a rough neighborhood, and we were at a stoplight, and a car pulled up. There's a guy on the side, and they shot the guy. They were shooting at him, and all my friends in the car got down. They're like, oh, my God. And I was the only one like, oh, my God. Like, I made myself, naturally, didn't think about it, just the biggest, I saw everything. That guy doesn't survive stuff, all right? That guy's the first to go. So, who knows what's gonna happen? But yeah, but that's fine. I'm not a first responder. I'm like, I'm later. I'm like a fifth. Like, naturally, I just want to avoid. It's just awkward, you know. I don't want to help. You ever get yelled at for helping, and you're like, never doing that again? I did that once on a flight. I don't help people with their bags on a flight, because one time I got on a flight, I wasn't paying attention. I had headphones on, and there's a woman struggling with her bag. She was just a little shorter, and she couldn't get her bag up there. And I didn't even think about it. I just went, oh, here you go. I did that, and I guess she was having a bad day, and she just goes, I got it! And she yelled at me. The whole plane looked at me like, look at this guy. Doesn't think a woman could put her bag up there. And I was just like, oh my God. I'm never doing this again, and I won't. Like, now if I'm in line and someone's struggling with the bag, I'm like, And people are like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, oh no, you don't know what's happened to me before. I'm never helping anyone ever again. It's like a mixture of social anxiety, I think, that prevents me from being a first responder too. Like, I'm gonna tell you a story, and I don't want you to judge me, but you might. We were in Boise, Idaho, and my wife and I were together. We were walking down the street, and like 2 blocks ahead of us, downtown Boise, there's like a homeless man that fell out of his wheelchair, and there's another homeless person there. Like, what? Like, I just saw the pantomime, probably saying, "What are you doing out of your wheelchair?" And there was a lot of people out, but I could tell by the speed we were walking that we were going to be first on the scene, and so I was just like, "Hey, why don't we slow down?" And my wife's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, just slow down. And then she pieced together why I was slowing down. And then she saw other people helping him. She goes, oh my God. And I'm like, I don't want to be the first one there. It's awkward. I'm going to be like, let me just grab your leg. It's just going to be, I'm going to say something dumb, like whoopsie, or I don't know, like something. I don't want to be in that. I'm like a fifth responder. You know those videos where you see a bunch of people help one person, and then the last person shows up and doesn't really do anything. They just kind of show up and they're like, "Oh, you guys got it, all right." And then that's my role in life. I come in at the end and we're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm late, fellas. I was walking slow on purpose to make sure I wasn't first on the scene." See, I knew you guys would judge me. I feel the judgment. There's enough of you here where I'm like, we like him less a little. Thank God we live in the era now. Everything's, padded, and there's been enough lawsuits that there's enough warnings for guys like me. They're like, yeah, don't touch that. That's who I am. Thank God I live in 2025. This is the era I need to be alive in, we were at breakfast the other day. My wife and I heard a conversation from the table over, and they said the phrase, like when people talk about people like not being open-minded or something, they say some phrase, "Come on, it's," and then they fill in the blank of the year, and that's what they said. And they were like, "Come on, it's 2025 already. Live and let live." And I remember hearing that, and I was like, I wonder if like back in the day they ever said the reverse of that. Like it's like 1905, and it's like two women, and one of them's like, I wonder when they're gonna let us vote. And they're like, I know, but it's only 1905. Like, give us a few more years, and then we'll get into it. Or like caveman days, they're like, man, it'd be sick if we had a wheel. And it's like, come on, it's only 2. Or we've only been around for a second. Let us build up some. That was a dumb joke, but I'll give you that. I gave it a shot. I got cocky. That's what happened there. I got arrogant. I'm like, let's give this a shot. Hey, you finished my YouTube video. Thank you so much. I am personally very proud of you. You know how to finish things you start. There's plenty more videos on my channel to watch if you haven't seen them already. Also, I'm on the road all the time, so come catch me live. Go to zoltancomedy.com to see my tour schedule. You can buy tickets through there. And only buy tickets through my website, because there's scammers now that are upcharging people for tickets that aren't even good, that won't even get you in. Complete rip-offs. So only go to zoltancomedy.com. And thank you so much for watching my videos.